So, good evening, welcome all of you, and we'd like to thank you very much for being with us today. We are very happy for every theme, every time, but this one is really exciting. We will be talking about YouTube. We won't be discovering the wheel, but we'll try to see what's happening in the YouTube universe, how it arrived in Greece, where we meet it today. We are in Fuzz. These are the dialogues for the month of December, and we welcome you to the 25th event, our 25th event. This means that officially we are now in year 3. We have our 2 years of successful events. Every month we met with different speakers, different themes, in different locations, even in different cities. And I think the best is yet to come, as long as the 2 of us, as you and we, get together, meet, and discuss all these things. I'd also like to welcome those of you who are with us on the internet. Are we transmitting on YouTube? Have you checked? I gotcha. Well, do you check what's happening on YouTube? And do you cut anything? No, I only check. What about the others? What do you mean the others? Isn't there anybody else on YouTube? Well, depending on the video, well, you are suitable. You can play. We won't cut you off. So welcome to those who are watching us via live streaming, SNF.org. Hello to those of you watching through social media. And let us also introduce the new account. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, SNF Dialogue, snf.org/dialogues for any questions. For those of you who watch on the internet, you can participate in the discussion like every time. You can ask questions, you can make statements, you can agree, you disagree, so your voice can be heard, in other words. And together we can hold a discussion. Does YouTube have its own language? Who'd like to answer? So there's this theory according to which YouTube has its own language, specific people can speak it, others believe that whoever wants to deal with YouTube can do so easily. So what's your opinion? And let me introduce the YouTubers. We have Scrap with us, we have Susanna Beauty Secrets. I hope you tell us a beauty secret today, Susanna. It's Jeremy, Carrot Tarts. Welcome and thank you. We also have Take It Serious, 2 of the 3. Where's the third one? He's studying. Where's he studying? In Kastoria, digital media and communication. So why hasn't he connected to Fuzz Club, to us? We also have Stefanos, who was able to come. Thank you very much, Stefanos, because the time in Ioannina was kind of foggy. So he tried once, he tried twice, and third time's a charm. We also have Madam Ginger. We've known her for some time now in dialogues. Thank you for being with us, Madam Ginger, in order for us to engage in this discussion. So please say hello, and please tell me, is there a special lingo for YouTube? Yes or no? I would personally say that it has its own anarchy, not a language. What do you mean by that? I.e., let me say, for example, that you have to follow a trodden path that's existed for some years now in order to become a creator. I think that's what we were talking about, right? So you have to follow the beaten path, the trodden path, the path followed by many YouTubers. And we're talking about interaction with other YouTubers as well. It's very difficult for me to explain this. You have to experience it firsthand. You have to live in YouTube for years. You have to become a creator and find out all the hidden secrets, all the different aspects. It's very difficult, yet it's very simple. Susanna, what does a creator mean to you? I believe, on the other hand, that YouTube is maybe the only medium where everybody can do what they want. I'm not sure that there is a code to use in order to converse with the audience. I think that people who are interested in your content will come no matter what that is. And this can be done by anybody. Anybody can be a creator. So if my mom decides to have a video on cooking, she can do it. And I believe that it's very free and accessible. And Madame Ginger, can anybody, because they know how to cook or because they want to deal more with food, for example, become a YouTuber on cooking? Well, of course, they can become a YouTuber. The question is whether they will be a successful YouTuber, whether they'll get the likes, the views, the comments in order to be considered a successful channel, a successful YouTuber. Anybody can do it. But the truth is that if you want to do it professionally, or if you want to succeed, you must learn the language of YouTube, which is very different from that of the other social media. That's what I meant by anarchy, meaning anybody can do anything. That's true. Who is it? Fotis. All you need is a camera, nothing more, and you can do whatever you like, whatever you want. I want to come to you and ask you if there is this anarchy described by Scrap in the good sense of the word, and tell us what YouTube is and how is YouTube, how does YouTube consider a YouTuber or a successful creator? Well, it all started by everybody uploading whatever they like. That's how it all started. It started with videos, cats, babies, the first things we see. So these are the two things I don't watch, cat videos and baby videos. Well, it doesn't matter, but on our mobile phone, we have cats and babies. That's what we upload more than anything. So it was like a storage engine for videos. And slowly, we also had an ecosystem of people who wanted to upload it, whatever they fancied. For example, beauty, comedy, that's how it started. And these people acquired an audience, and then you had the creation of this ecosystem. So there's a big anarchy. Anybody can say what they like. So if I believe, for example, that I try to find a channel on how to make caps, bottle caps, I can find it. Now, it depends on what the audience is interested in. I haven't presented you yet. I haven't introduced you, but what you said is very interesting because a lot of people, apart from the basic profiles of the users, which you will describe, and those who've been watching you and those that are recorded by YouTube, a lot of people go to YouTube in order to find something useful, to hear a second opinion, to see how something works, in order to learn certain things. Now, what one can learn and what learning actually means and what people consider learning, well, that's so we have Ilias, Sousis, head of domestic market and YouTube at Google, Greece, Bulgaria, Cyprus, and Malta. And this is why I've been asking him so many questions. YouTube in Greece, when did it come? Not even 10 years ago. Well, it always existed ever since it was created. But the Greek version and the commercial part of YouTube, meaning ads, well, it came to Greece in 2012. So May of 2012, exactly, that's when we launched the Greek version of YouTube. So in 2012, YouTube finds a Greek audience that's looking for what it loves, things that are familiar to it, babies, cats, and so on and so forth. So these are fields that are not highly specialized. Since 2020, there was specialization in what? Well, there were more specialized videos, a lot about cooking, beauty, but creators from abroad mainly, not Greek so much. In Greek, we had comedians who wanted to upload videos, and after monetization began, meaning that there could be ads, and then YouTube could share the revenue with the creators, the ecosystem grew bigger and bigger. And the second very important thing is that in 2012, there was no Greek page, youtube.gr, so it was more anarchic. But now we focus more on local videos.
And in the wider community, let's say that YouTube is a community. What is the place in Greece in the international YouTube community? Because YouTube is considered to be the more free space. But from the communication and information point of view, maybe from the point of view of journalism, we also have a transmission and receiving information. So this is the most democratic means because you can listen, but you can also ask, make comments at the same time. The situation in Greece, you mean? Well, it's similar to what happens abroad. Greece is one of the top countries using the YouTube. And of course, commenting and interaction is very important. And this is what made YouTube great, this interaction between the creator and the viewer. The same goes for Greece, and maybe more intensely, because in Greece we are quite intense in our comments. But I would say that even in foreign YouTubers or YouTube videos, there is a Greek making comments and a second Greek coming in against the one that made the comments previously. Now, I would like to ask you something. Are you disappointed by this? Let's say by a negative comment, are you concerned? But here we have full freedom and democracy. Directness, maybe. Maybe this is the right word, directness. So I think that it is easier for anybody to leave a comment without previous thought or without trying to understand who you are or what you do. It's just that many things happened, and he wrote this comment. Is this disappointing, or can you handle this? Good evening from me and Silena. Actually, we are not disappointed. Initially, it is difficult because when you read the first negative comment, if you have never been exposed to public scrutiny and criticism before, well, this can be tough and maybe you cannot manage this. Maybe this has to do with having short hair. I have short hair for 20 years. Yes, I have short hair, so what? But there are some issues you are not ready to hear about. Now, 3 years down the road in social media and the YouTube, I think that you get acquainted with the idea that human stupidity is really immense. Indeed, because I could just upload a video from what is happening here and somebody would comment, oh, you are fat with what you were. They didn't notice anything. They have no proposal to make. I don't care about these people. And indeed, we have this negative energy and criticism, but indeed there are some people seeing you in the street, they would just say a couple of words that are frank and real. They could be a compliment or maybe not, and this is very nice, so you don't care about the rest. But okay, we have a plethora of information, cats and dogs and sciences, and we do not filter anything, so the comments usually are of a very low level as regards content, of course. So after a while, you don't enter the game because otherwise you would stop doing what you do. Okay, another question based on what you have said so far. So actually, in this dialogues series, we are trying to have a dialogue and we need a different opinion. So it's good to have a different opinion. It's not expressing bitter views. And it's also important to listen to the other person and what the other person has to say. Not just what is positive, also what is negative. But there should be a content to this negativity. Anyway, in this whole effort and concerns to consolidate and promote the public debate. So do you think that YouTube is helpful? Or is this something bad, a negative point of YouTube? Of course, YouTube is not to blame. Look, the truth is somewhere in the middle. Of course, there are disagreements expressed in a civilized way. Everybody expresses their views, and that's fine. But now there are some people that can write anything freely, and maybe not in goodwill. But it happens. So it's up to the one that reads the comment to judge. But I don't think that this is the vast majority. It is a minority, however. Can you do some filtering as regards comments? Yes, we try to do so. But it is the owner of the channel that filters mainly. And you know, the Greek language is great in cursing, so you cannot imagine what anybody is going to write. So in some videos you cut comments, especially as regards children's videos, because there was no reason for comments to exist in these cases. But anyway, we do not cut the comments. Of course, if there is a report, okay. But then it's up to the creator. Now, a question about the ages, the age group that prefers watching various contents on the YouTube. Maybe, I don't know, I have the feeling that somehow all people of all ages watch. Yes. YouTube is becoming 15 in 2020, so those that started in 2005 were about 15 or 30, 35 years of age. Now they are about 50. So it's actually a wide range. Older ages use YouTube like a TV, or follow creators of a different style, and younger people watch other things. We have a very nice diagram in Google indicating the development of viewing male and female age groups. As you grow up, it's no longer games or music, it's children videos for your children. Now, how can a creator become a professional YouTuber, and what's the difference to the amateur? Well, anybody could say, well, of course, there are some limits. I can't remember the limits now. I think it's the number of subscribers. So figures are important. Yes, because in the past you could get income from ads right from the first videos. But after a while we decided to have a certain limit, to have some filters. Of course, a huge media company or a sports channel, yes, we have some tools allowing these companies to protect their content, because this was not the case in the past. When did you started working in this position? In 2012, actually, I was working in launching the YouTube in Greece. So you're in the know, yes, I would say. I have been involved in this after that. YouTube was in my life quite early. The first creator I remember, a creator still. So I started watching YouTube in 2006, 2007. I was watching videos in my room. Please introduce yourselves and explain what you do, and tell us your stories, how, when, and why you entered the YouTube universe.
I will begin. I know because I've been in dialogues before. My professional name is Madame Ginger, my YouTube name. My channel is about food. It has two shows. In the one I cook, and the other one I visit restaurants and shops where food is served. I see how others cook. That's what I enjoy doing the most, and I like eating what others have cooked and prepared. I started rather weird. I studied in Castoria public relations together with the gentleman over there, and I worked in advertising companies for 6 or 7 years. And then I decided that I can't actually leave work at 10 o'clock in the evening, and I decided to study cooking and do what I really love doing. So I studied cooking. I studied in order to become a chef and work in restaurants. So it was... But somewhere along the way, I discovered that we have actually lost, because of the passage of time, recipes, meaning my grandmother's recipes and things like that. And I decided to record recipes before they get lost. And that's how it all started. In the beginning, it was fine because it was based on my knowledge from advertising, from the time that I worked in an advertising company. And I stopped doing everything else. This is my only job. They asked me, what do you do? And I said, my real job is YouTube. It's not that I have another job and that YouTube is something that I do as a pastime. I work 365 hours days a year. But it's different when you work for yourself, and it's different when you chase your dream. Your objectives are different. So I don't care that I work like this. It's as if I'm not working at all, but I work 365 days a year. I'm on holiday, and I think to myself, this is where we have to go, to this restaurant, because I'm going to take pictures and I'm going to present it on YouTube. On weekdays, I work 8 hours a day. Sometimes I may work for 14 or 15 hours. But blog is hard work. Doing a blog is hard work. Well, you are like suspended, if you like, in limbo. But we see a lot of other celebrities, for example. So this category, celebrities, and they have, there's some names that are very popular, but they also do something else. And their audience knows them from somewhere else. So there's this trend, basically. And this is not something that's happening right now. It's been going on for many years. And we're already starting to talk about what has already come, what has already arrived. But we see that some people feel that they can go and do, for example, something else and switch. It depends on the response they get. Well, this is something we could discuss for hours. And this is something that all of us, being YouTubers, think of as well. So if somebody has doubts as to whether this is a job, a real job or not, follow me for 1 week. Come with me, stay with me for a week, and then you'll realize what I mean. It's a real job. It's just that we have to understand that it's a job of the present, not even the future. We know that jobs change. People change jobs. And some jobs disappear and others appear in their place. People used to shine our shoes. Shoe shiners have disappeared. Some other jobs have appeared. So we see that on TV they're going to have a contract and then they're going to do the production. But in the YouTube you have to do everything first, prepare your video, and then see if you get an audience. And the genuine character of the YouTube is also something that we need to mention. Authenticity. Maybe they have a different approach. So something we see is authentic characters on YouTube. This is a characteristic of YouTube. Someone will swear, for example, but this is somebody's real self. It's not that they're going to pretend to be somebody they're not. They are who they really are, their true self. It's not fake. There's no pretense. There are no other characteristics. It's not acting. So the most famous YouTuber, the most popular YouTuber in the world, PewDiePie, had a video and he was confessing something, saying something, and suddenly he actually switches the light off in his room, or the light went off, and he continued in the dark. He didn't try to create a perfect video and change it or whatever. He wanted it to be real and authentic. So we're listening to you. Good afternoon, and let me thank you. When we say καθημερινή φυσική, do we mean physics on a daily basis? No, not at all. My name is Vamvakos Stefanos. My channel is Καθημερινή Φυσική on YouTube, and as you can tell by the name, I'm talking about makeup. I'm going to talk about makeup. Natural makeup, of course, natural makeup. My channel started 5 years ago, approximately. That's when it all began. I studied physics. That's my background. And I always was curious as a person. I wanted to know how the world worked. I loved physics. I loved science. I was a very curious person, and I wanted to share my enthusiasm with the rest of the world. And I had a lot of spare time on my hands. I just finished my studies back then. So that's how it all started, this channel, just to pass the time. It was originally a hobby. I didn't expect to have the popularity that it had. And if 5 years ago I would ask someone who was already on YouTube, a YouTuber, somebody who had been on the platform for years, and said to him, I've got this idea. I'm thinking of creating this channel on YouTube. Should I do it or not? I think that person would say, no, don't do it. Because videos require a lot of work. You need to work for hours to make a video. So it's good if I manage to make one video a month. That's a good pace. And this is not what the YouTube wants. It wants content often. But people have embraced my channel. They seem to like it. And I'm really happy about that. And for me, it's now become my job, my channel. I know it might sound strange, but it's the truth. So who's your audience? My audience, what was my audience? Well, people rather young who were interested in physics, but who couldn't find anything, meaning in the Greek environment, there wasn't anything similar. So I don't think that on YouTube, you don't have a lot of physics videos compared to other sectors. Well, compared to the English-speaking YouTube, no, there aren't that many YouTube videos about physics and things like that. But new channels have started to appear, and it's very good that together with two more people, we got together, we joined forces, and we were able to work as one. So there seemed to have been an audience, a ready audience. It's just that this audience couldn't find the content they were looking for, and that's why we became so popular. As far as I understand, in most cases, we had lone wolves. People were one. There was one person behind a YouTube channel, but now there's three. Well, we're brothers. We started from a different path. I don't remember when my channel began. When did you start? In 2014. In 2014, so it's 5 years now. The truth is that our younger brother had the idea. It was his inspiration. He was around 15. This man watched YouTube, used to spend hours watching YouTube. We had our own channels. I used to upload music video from my band. Dimitris uploaded video from TV series, and that he actually had been able to hack, if you like. So you're talking to us about the content, and my younger brother did something completely different. I had a different scientific background. I studied oceanography. I did a master's in a different subject. I tried to get a job. I managed to go abroad, but then I wanted to come to Greece, and things didn't work out in Greece the way I wanted to. And then I just followed what my brother did, my two brothers. They started doing it as a hobby. We all do it as a hobby. We do it spontaneously. We do it as a hobby, and we try to develop it as much as we can. So let me talk about the content. There are three categories: gaming, video games. We play a game. We also show our reaction to this game. And that's one part. Second part, presentations, unboxings. And this was very popular abroad in the past. Now it's a trend in Greece. And the third part, which is very popular, are the vlogs. So parts of our daily life, meaning going to the football field, things like that. So vlogs. It's not a ridiculous question. I hope not, because you're looking at me in a strange way. Anyway, no. So is it what we see, something that's exaggerated in certain series, for example, where there's an open camera and you have an open camera and you keep recording whatever you see, whatever is happening to you? Video blog, vlog. It's a portmanteau word, vlog. And even though we have gaming as part of what we do, we also have computers, tech products. But in our vlogs, we try to propose other ways of life. We go to the football field, we play football, we go karting, we go horse riding, we present our music, our hobbies, different things. So it's not that we want to show our daily life to the outside world, even though we know that a lot of people like doing this on YouTube and it's very popular. The good thing about this YouTube channel is that the content, we pick the content. We do what we like, what we please, and what satisfies us. What does this mean? That we're not interested in following the beaten track. It's not that the numbers are what's driving you. Even in games, before we had a discussion off the record, we know that some games catch on and they have a lot of likes and views. If we don't like it, we don't do it. If we're not authentic, if we wouldn't want to watch it ourselves, we don't do it. We're very honest. And I also want to help you with the discussion. I don't know personally whether I'll be able to expose myself on YouTube. I think that if an old man playing games will have a different, if you like, audience and will be more popular than somebody with a beard. So we thought that what's being created will be used for us to set up a company in relation to advertising. So we're talking about advertising. So it's a startup. Video, photography, that's always our hobby. So together with YouTube, we also do this as well. So when people take it serious, they think, I've seen this before, I've heard it before. And I hope that they've heard it and not seen it. Because if we have a big client, then it will be easier for him to contact us. So we have different paths. And I'd like to say our young brother is studying this. He really wants to work on it, and I hope that we'll be able to turn professional in the future.
So you see there is a time schedule. Of course, before the carrot tarts, I would like to know something about the time schedule of YouTube. We are here today, but how about the future? Look, in the last 10 years, things have changed. We have different sections: YouTube gaming, YouTube music, some apps and sub-apps. Nevertheless, still, it is a platform based on creators and their videos. There are some future plans for TV using the YouTube platform to watch other channels like YouTube TV. But anyway, we would like to enhance our platform as regards the creators. This was the mission of YouTube, to facilitate people to post videos. Let us not forget how YouTube grew. After cats and babies, there were volcanoes or personal photos. So this is the mission and the vision of the YouTube. On the wider market, to come back to information and communication from the point of view of the receiver of the message, but also of the creator, YouTube has affected, or rather, it has imposed the use of images. It has given yet another dimension to photos. It has defined the terms with which to make a video about the Prime Minister or about an event coming up next month. Whether I will do it traditionally or on the internet. So I want to say that indeed this happens. Was this a strategic decision? No, the platform is a dynamic one, depending on the audience. This evolution was under the radar. So actually it is a learning platform or how to make an air condition using ice cubes or how to wash the baby. It is the how-to trend. So in the last 5 or 6 years we see this trend. So YouTube as a personal assistant. But even recipes and cooking sites, in the past there were just words, speech. And you take it step by step, isn't it? How to cook. How to. You keep watching it. It's more interactive, easier to understand. It's better than reading. So we have an evolution in this direction. And to sum up, YouTube is becoming more friendly as regards smart TVs because there has been a huge increase in content in this case. And secondly, mobile phones, 70% increase in the traffic. A large part of it is music and entertainment, and as regards and also applications as a personal assistant. The first video I ever watched was how to make a tie knot. So, yes. What's the number of the YouTube users? Worldwide, 1.8, 1.9 billion. About 6 million plus in Greece. So it's the vast majority, almost everybody. In Greece, Greece is a top country in views per internet user. So this is very important because sometimes we could see the number of people, the number of viewers, but the point is how many stayed with us. Yes, of course. YouTube started as a platform to watch videos of 1, 2, or 3 minutes. Now, I don't know, but it could be almost 1 hour. So that's the average time, 1 hour. Yes, but how many videos? I don't know. I don't know. I cannot give you the exact figure, but the average time is 6 to 7 minutes. Okay, songs 3 or 4 minutes, but most videos have a duration of 6 to 7 minutes. Of course, there are videos of 1 hour, depending on the platform. It has to do with the way we use the mobile phones or TVs. I am Silena, and that's Alexandros. We are the Carrot Tarts. We started in 2016. I'm not sure why we started, to be honest. Well, I was watching YouTube and I said, let's do it. We could do it ourselves. What were you watching and do what? I was watching beauty. And I said, we could do something. So we said, oh, it would be nice to have a camera during holidays, for example. Of course, she would say no, because she wanted to do other things in her life. Yes, life is strange sometimes. I don't know about the others. I don't know whether they are doing something relevant to their studies. Alexander, not political sciences. I studied to be an actress. So if anybody would ask, what would you do 5 years later? I wouldn't know. Anyway, What would you talk about with your best friend? Stupid things or serious things? This is the core. And this gives us a huge range of topics. 6 or 7 minutes. Now, the video there we are watching is a 55-minute video. I think we could never post this video. We try to not to speak too much, and actually we're very anxious. We didn't know whether 20 minutes would be good for the audience. Initially, we said less than 15 minutes, but when we have 29 minutes now, we say it's okay, 29 minutes, let's leave it like that. It's okay. An answer to whether it is a job or not. After hearing our colleagues here, and I keep seeing the various types of videos. Now we see that Selena wants to change her clothes because we were supposed to go somewhere where the dress code was needed. Then we enter a lift which goes very fast, and we feel kind of awkward. And actually we keep time because we want to play scientists. And imagine how difficult this job is. It is a job. Because actually if you don't work in an office and earn 5,000 euros, it's not a job. Even teachers and doctors are not appreciated if they are not paid well. So, if we just think what the creator has to do, we do everything have to do with the video. We have to do the accounting. First of all, started okay. You must have a camera and speak to the camera. That's it. This was our initial thought too. But if you want to be serious about it, you realize that that's not enough. Things are not that simple. There are many other things that have to be done, and the audience will never learn about it. To get to the videos, for example, cooking pasta, somebody had to buy pasta to do the cleaning, everything, prepare, write the recipe. So, and it's only one person. It is a job. So during traveling, when you want to make a video, what do? We do have a homemade studio. My room, initially. It used to be my room, fortunately or unfortunately. Vlogs are not very often in our channel. It's mostly discussions. So I would say that it's vidcast, more than comedy. Yes, I agree. Jeremy?
I would like initially to answer the first question. You asked about the language of communication on YouTube. Every creator, consciously or subconsciously, communicates with his audience in one way or another. So it's as if you are defining there a language of communication to the public that's watching you, and then what you communicate is translated, and this may be different from one person to another. So sometimes we have a lot of misunderstandings because of this in relation to the intentions of each creator and what message he's trying to convey. I am doing comedy, and I write the script and I shoot it on video. So there's a specific template, a specific format, so that the entire episode is funny. And sometimes this can be misinterpreted, it can be misunderstood, and every creator has his own language of communication. It's different. On the other hand, the YouTube has its own language of communication, which is different compared to TV or radio, and it is characterized by directness, because you can immediately contact the creator, you can send a message, write comments, whatever. My I do filmmaking, comedy, film, and commentary. That's my theme. I will do sketches, and then I will comment on the video in a funny way. So this is what I consider useful for the time we live in, and interesting as well. So what inspires you? What inspires you? This is the classical question they ask most creators. Most of them are inspired from their everyday life. But describe it, not just theoretically, meaning where will you draw your content from, your material from? And then you can say, look, I'm going to sort it out and pick this and do this and comment this and show this. And this will be my content today, for example. So it comes from the current era and what's in the current news, what's in the news. This is very important for the YouTube. Everybody watches the news and what's actually of interest to people. And talking about current events, do you actually watch the news, the 8 o'clock news every day? No. But I will watch the news on TV 2 or 3 times a week on average. And I'll also read articles from the daily press because I like to keep abreast of developments and to know what's happening in the world. Now, the themes I actually deal with, I really wanted to have a comical take, if you like, in order for me to be able to present it to the audience, something funny. Now, if it's also got to do with what I want to say and whether this is in sync with the comedy I'm doing. I'm also influenced by friends, by acquaintances, by the people around me, by the city and things like that. And also I get influenced from TV and other audio visuals like films, movies, things on TV, whatever. Susanna. My name is Susanna. Susanna's Beauty Secrets is my channel, and I started very differently from the rest. I'm a journalist, so I started as a beauty editor in journals, on TV, in all the conventional media, the traditional media, and somehow I ended up on YouTube, which was quite strange because I wasn't a user. I didn't use YouTube. I only would go there for music. That's when I first started using it. When was this? Not many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, but I never watched YouTube videos and I didn't follow what was on YouTube in general. So I started 4 or 5 years ago, and because I was writing on a women's site for beauty products, I had these products in front of me, beauty products, and then I used the camera on my phone, and I really wanted to have this on video because a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I had a light bulb on top of me, and I actually wanted to say that I didn't do it right because there was nothing on either side. So I put the lamp behind me for some reason, and then I opened the box with the products that I'd already written about, and then I started talking. I didn't know how to edit. I had just learned the basics in school, but I uploaded it on the platform in order to store it and then to use the link in order to use it in the site I was working for. And then I saw a week later that a lot of people had seen this video, and I saw subscribers, 1,000 subscribers. And I thought, well, this is good. It's been doing well. And some time went by, I'd made another video, and this is now my main job. What about the transition? You were working in a specific environment. You said you had nothing in common with YouTube. You didn't have anything to do with YouTube. So how did you switch? I am a digital native. I started working 10 years ago. I used to work in Elle magazine, and they were building their site, and I helped in creating the site of this magazine. So I knew what digital content meant. But it wasn't difficult for me to do this transition. Did you know how you'd get paid? No, I didn't know that. This was a risk. So I'm not talking about the digital environment only. In order for us to talk more about YouTube so that people can understand how YouTube works for those who don't know it, we heard that YouTube, being a YouTuber is a job. So sometimes we are doing well. Sometimes we're lagging behind compared to other countries which have YouTube. And then we'll have to see how professional YouTubers get paid. When I first started, I took a risk because I used to work on a channel, a TV channel. I used to earn a salary, and I said, this is my passion. I'm going to follow my passion. I know this needs energy. It needs time in order for one to prove oneself and not just use the phone camera. This means that you have to devote time and energy. And I decided to follow that path. And it actually pays off if you actually do it with passion. So now let's ask Ilias. I upload a video on YouTube, but at a certain point I stopped being an amateur and slowly I start developing this further. How do I get paid?
So you post a video from a certain figure onwards. You choose whether you want to have ads. And this income is distributed between Google and the YouTuber. Of course, if the channel is a big one, you can have sponsors and other things. This doesn't happen via Google. It's an automated way to earn more, which differs from country to country and YouTuber to YouTuber, depending on the figures. Scrap.
Yes.
Hello. I uploaded the first video on YouTube in 2009. It was a douche song. I was wearing a hat and I was rapping. I was 9 or 10 years old. I did many efforts to become a YouTuber. Before making it, I set up 4 channels. At some point, I had a channel. Do you remember this app for the smartphone, Storyton, which was a cat? You would talk to the cat, and the cat would repeat it with a thinner voice. This was very high tech back then. So I uploaded some videos talking to the cat would talk back to me, and I uploaded these videos. I cannot really remember, but I was quite surprised because this was happening abroad. 10,000 views in 2010. In 2012, I stopped. I stopped in 2010. I started again in 2012 when we had the MCN on YouTube that is being paid. So I said, okay, let's do it. I will make some money. I was a young kid. So it started back then and till now. It took me 6 years to get 1,000 subscribers, not 1 month. So this worked in the opposite direction for me. I didn't do the job I studied for. What I did on the YouTube made me study something relevant. I was constantly uploading videos. My videos were becoming better and better. Then I started being a director in Thessaloniki, and in the last years, actually, I'm withdrawing. I set up my own brand. This is happening abroad a lot, in Greece too. YouTubers do it. It's a good investment. So a clothing company for young people, for adolescents. And indeed, I had my viewers on the YouTube, so I was successful. So my brand became greater, so we have this interaction between creation and the brand. So it was easy for me to develop. Now, maybe, well, my first thought is what can YouTube do about it? We see younger creators coming in because younger people are more familiar with technology and YouTube was part of their lives quite early. Do you see them growing in the YouTube or do they leave very early? No, we see them growing on the platform. It's a personal issue. Yes, some YouTubers started with an X content, then they grew, they changed their content. I don't know, maybe I didn't get the question right. To put it simply, well, to become a YouTube creator, do you have to be young? No, not necessarily. There are many examples of older people that started quite old, 40 or 50, and they get huge figures. Of course, if the content has to do with younger ages, well, younger ages are more active on the platform, they are more enthusiastic, so figures are higher. But it's not a precondition. We have now these different types of contents. It's not just comedy or gaming. Now we have physics or astronomy. So figures, well, are not everything. Well, content is there for the masses, but we also have the mass niche. For example, some specific, very specific interests. So not all types of contents can have 500,000 viewers. Yes, but how can one survive? Yes, that's an issue. So figures are important. Yes, yes, of course. But I believe that what was said before is quite right. I think that YouTube paved the way for many creators. Many creators became stand-up comedians in theaters. Some others created their own brands. So I think that you cannot limit yourself within the YouTube platform only. It is good income for some people, but if you get your audience, why not take advantage of it? There is a huge discussion about the role of ads, the terms of the ads market. In the last decade, actually, things were quite difficult. YouTube had to go through the moving stones. Could you please make some comments on this? And maybe there is a concern for other types of platforms, information platforms. The basic problems we cannot overcome is to get subscribers without ads and convince them that the content is worthwhile, not because it is costly and we have to deal with our expenses, but there is added value for the user. How can we manage this thing? Look, YouTube, right from the start, when the business model was created, was such that the creators had to become successful with many views and bring ads. On the Greek market is more limited as regards the income of foreign YouTubers. So the basic difference is that the foreign YouTubers speak in English and content in English can get income from around the world. The great limitation in Greece is also linguistic. The audience is the Greek-speaking audience. So the content produced in Greece is in Greek, mainly. Look, we have several YouTubers that produce content in foreign languages or without using language, gaming, for example. And they do well abroad. And they are not very well known in Greece because they don't produce content for Greece that much, and they can have enough income. Now, the YouTubers that are there for the Greek market, of course, they have the limitations of the Greek market, the Greek ads market. But as regards digital and Google and YouTube, there is an increase, a rapid increase, I would say. But still, it started from very low in 2010, 2011, and now we have reached some figures that maybe become even higher for the YouTubers to be satisfied from their incomes. Apart from the financials, which is very important, of course, this is very important for you. And you also set the trends for the market. Something else that comes in discussion is the policies and or politics. Many things have been said, but let's say whether these two worlds have met.
Of course, they've met, and there are cases of people or political parties that use the YouTube as a platform for communicating their politics, but also directly communicating with the people. We haven't had any such successful attempts, you mean in Greece? Well, not in the way that it's been done elsewhere. It's difficult for a politician, a Greek politician, to use this directness that is provided by YouTube. We've seen some efforts, but they are rather reserved. But we've also seen cases of people that have used platforms like YouTube a lot, quite intensively, and people got to know them, whereas in the beginning nobody knew them. And let's not forget that this is yet another difference, meaning people may not be able to appear on TV, and these same people can go to YouTube and talk to whoever they want to. Now, the question is whether this is right or not. And it depends on their views and on their political beliefs and opinions. But regardless of political opinions, let me come back to political content, whether there's political content on YouTube. No, that's not what I mean. Whether there is intervention by YouTube on the content. No. All we want is certain conditions to be met. So what's prohibited? What's not allowed? Well, there's a list and an analytical list. For example, let me just give you an example. There was a trend at a certain point in time when certain YouTubers used to put plastic bags over their heads and they couldn't breathe. This was considered dangerous content, so it was actually rejected. And there was another case, an extreme, for example, a case where there's hatred naked, also nude. And if it's porn, for example, that won't be accepted. But there are some cases where nude is artistic or where there's an educational aspect, and this can stay. It's not going to be taken down. So there's certain conditions and terms, but it's not a very strict platform. No censorship. There is nobody there who says, I'm going to censor this and that, and so on and so forth. Now, there's a story behind it, and I need to share it with you, because there's a story which people talk about. There are certain theories, urban myths or not. You can give us the answer to that, meaning that there are these thousands of people whose job is to sit for hours with a specific time allotted to them by the companies so that they can scan content very quickly and actually take down or put a red flag, but to such an extent that there is no second choice, i.e. a second scan. So everything is done very quickly. So there's this intervention, so to speak. And secondly, the conditions under which these people work are very tiring, maybe even inhuman, and maybe they're affected a lot and drained a lot because they see a lot of things that may do them harm. And this is a method that is criticized by many, if, of course, this is the case. But this has been discussed. I I haven't heard about bad working conditions, but I said it in a nice way. So this is something that people have discussed. I've heard about another company, but I think this has also been mentioned about YouTube as well. This is not true. I can tell you 100%. Are there people who sit and watch YouTube videos? Well, yes, because some videos did not fit the algorithm and they had hate speech or racism messages. So then YouTube asked a big group of people to control manually the content so as to ensure that there won't be a video uploaded and accessible to the public which has such hate speech, for example. But this is absolute. You can never be absolute. The content that is uploaded every minute on YouTube, this is 500 video a minute. I don't know the latest figures. This was 3-4 years ago, but we're talking about millions of videos that are being uploaded. So no matter how many people can work on this, it's not easy. So have you been, has content that you had been cut or rejected by YouTube? I have a small objection, not only in relation to our videos, but also in relation to other YouTubers' videos. So the video might not be censored completely, but the advertising, the commercials may be taken out, or we won't be able to promote. The video won't be promoted as much as it would have been promoted had not if certain words hadn't been included that were not politically correct. So what I'm trying to say is that there is a political correctness even in YouTube. In the past, YouTube was not restricted. It was free, more free than now. And sometimes we see that certain things are evidence-based. And if somebody says something, and because there's a different trend, this may be considered racist. And a video may be taken down or the views may be reduced. So there's this new logic which didn't exist in the past. So there was more freedom in the past, freedom of speech. I'm not talking about taking somebody else's content and upload it on copyrights and so on and so forth. That I understand. But we have seen this happening. We've had some of our content being censored, but in some cases we don't control the way we speak, but we act spontaneously. We do what we normally would. For example, you might use a swear word when you play football and you don't score a goal, something like that. And sometimes certain sensitive subjects are being discussed. Or, for example, I've seen videos being taken down and they've been demonized for no reason. An example I discussed in the past. This does happen, but I don't know to what extent, whether it happens a lot, but it happens more often than in the past when we started using YouTube. Just a piece of clarification. It's one policy which video is taken down and which one gets promoted or gets advertising, commercials. This has become stricter, the latter, I mean, because of the feedback. In the past, you could have advertising everywhere, but now there's control as to which video can be monetized depending on the language, but mistakes are made. But why would you stop somebody having commercials? Why would you not give them commercials? Because for some videos, a company might not want to be advertised there. For example, there may be a filter.
I would like to say a couple of words about this. On the one hand, we should follow a logic saying that a company that has ads on my video doesn't want to be identified with a video that has swear words or some extreme views. Nevertheless, there is this algorithm to offer protection, but big mistakes are made. They are supposed to be manually controlled, but they are not. Please tell me I'm not right. No, indeed, there are some mistakes of the algorithm. It has happened to us quite often. Yes, I understand this. This is the general principle. Of course, there are mistakes, and this is why Google has hired people to correct manually the mistakes of the algorithm. the point is not demonetizing, but if your video becomes yellow and there is no income, the algorithm actually buries it somehow, quote unquote. So less people watch, the figures drop. This is theoretical, I would say. It doesn't really apply. Videos are watched by independent people. Now, in the last years, the algorithm has changed. For example, in the past, we had 300,000 subscribers. Most of them watch. Now, every time I upload a video, I don't know how many people will be informed, will get a warning about this video. And if your video is not viewed many times, there is no promotion and nobody watches the video. So somebody has to do something manually to Google Jeremy Selena and watch it. So this is the prevailing situation, which is kind of strange now, and it has created, some people are upset, let's say. That's it. Generally speaking, there is a huge debate about the algorithm, as I understand, because I only know what happens from the point of view of the user, the viewer, who sees how the algorithm works vis-à-vis the user. Look, it is an algorithm having to control content in many languages. So what I say could be interpreted in different ways. So I cannot hope that what I'm going to watch is going to be fairly judged. But quite recently, we are faced with huge problems. Others are faced with problems. But let me talk about us, because if you watch us, we cannot actually promote anything. We cannot say, I and Selena have had some issue with some videos which were demonetized. We had a recent example from 35 minutes. There was a report for 7 seconds of content from a well-known channel without sound. I requested manual check. I explained that this video is in 50 channels with sound. We have the no sound. My objection was accepted, but there is no income from the video. And since there is no income, and we don't get 5,000 views on day one, the video goes lost. So if there is this thing happening right from the start, you actually waste what happened the whole week. You will only have 50 or 30% of the audience. In some videos which were referring to current events, there were some bad comments. We, the creators, had no protection by the YouTube. We had to manually check thousands of comments, which were actually comments which were very aggressive against people on the video, against our lives. And we had to do something about these comments. But if I use 7 seconds from a TV series of 2005, this is considered to be a cardinal sin. Have you ever thought about this problem on YouTube? Look, yes, of course, YouTube is trying to do this exactly, to solve the issue. I cannot really do it on a case-by-case basis. Yes, but this is not the question. From the sample we see here, there is this question whether this is a concern for YouTube and whether YouTube wants to do something about it. answer. Of course, there have been many developments and public announcements by YouTube. I cannot give you an exact answer. We don't have a specialized team. We are concerned. We are trying to improve things. Some of these cases had to do with the algorithm or maybe some other things because there are more creators than in the past. This affects the figures. But this platform has billions of videos and mistakes. There are going to be mistakes. Yes, but we want to avoid conservative policies because we are discussing about how different this means is. Look, this is kind of different. If you allow me, maybe this is a question. I wanted to say that, okay, obviously, we operate within the limits of the platform we use. And that's right. And of course, we can accept criticism. Somebody who goes public has to accept comments for what he says or the way he presents himself. The point is that whether these limits, the limits we work in, are becoming stricter. Are we becoming like TV? What should and what shouldn't happen? This has to do with conservatism. We have been discussing about the differences between YouTube and the TV and about the authenticity of YouTube vis-à-vis the TV. Look, we cannot compare two different platforms. The TV, for example, there is more filtering there, and we have another platform, but the platform becomes larger, therefore we need some rules. But I wouldn't say that these are very strict rules. They're stricter than the past, because there were some cases in the past, and somehow we had to do something about them. And you know, this is a very delicate issue for the platform, because it is a platform. We are not the creators of the content, and we cannot judge what is uploaded or not. Yes, but what you describe is not only for YouTube. Even in Instagram and Facebook, we get this phenomenon. Some people that do photography and maybe they have a naked body, just a naked body, doing nothing, they find it difficult to upload content. So this has to do with the social media at large. Okay, in Instagram it's going to be a photo or a very small video, but in YouTube we have a whole creation. Nevertheless, as regards YouTube and DTV, in the past, YouTube was a platform you could express yourself on freely. But now you see that on TV, even in live shows, very bad things happen, things that actually are there against the whole society. But if I say a bad word on YouTube, I'm punished. No, I don't agree that you are punished. I could say that there is cursing and four-letter words in many videos, and there are ads. This has to do with the new policies and the new monetization rules. Of course, there are always mistakes. Over and above the content produced and promoted, how about the content proposed to all of us? There is yet another algorithm. I'm not the right person to talk about this algorithm. This has to do with a number of years. I'm going to see different proposals depending on the videos I watched in the past. It has to do with the channels you have subscribed to, because this is an indication of interest. And on the front page, you will mainly see videos having to do with channels you have subscribed. So channels you have subscribed or similar channels, or even some trendy videos. But of course, you know that there is a differing opinion about the role and the way the algorithm affects us, the users, on what we see. Whether the content is similar to the content we watched before, or whether there is something else. The same goes for politics. Some people say that there is targeting in order to affect our behaviors, not the behavior in Greece, but this happened abroad, about our voting behavior, for example. Look, there is nothing like that as regards this. Anyway, I think you're referring to the Cambridge Analytica case. This is how some data were used. It's kind of different. This is what you say. No, but even if you see the documentary, no, allow me to express a different view. I don't know whether it is the view of the majority, but there are enough people believing that the algorithm plays a specific role. This is not my personal view. Please give me an answer. Look, let me finish. The algorithm does not have its own opinion. I don't know the algorithm. We are not affecting the public opinion. Now, let's watch an interview to Thanasis Troupoukis by Panos Louridas, who is the head of development of GRNET. He is also an associate professor at the Department of Management Science and Technology at the Athens University of Economics and Business on this topic. Of course, this is not a personal view. It's a public debate which becomes stronger as times go by. Whether it just happens to see something on the right, proposed videos, or how it happens, what is the way? The way is defined by the algorithm.
Ο αλγόριθμος είναι βήματα που ακολουθούμε για να λύσουμε ένα πρόβλημα. Και αλγορίθμους χρησιμοποιούμε και χωρίς υπολογιστές. Ας πούμε, ο τρόπος με τον οποίο έχουμε μάθει να κάνουμε διαίρεση στο δημοτικό είναι ένας αλγόριθμος. Βάζουμε τους αριθμούς αριστερά-δεξιά, κάνουμε διαίρεση ένα ψηφίο-ψηφίο. Όλα αυτά τα βήματα είναι ένας αλγόριθμος, απλώς δεν το ξέρουμε. Αλλά στην πραγματικότητα αυτό είναι. Δεν ξέρουμε ακριβώς πώς λειτουργεί ο αλγόριθμος του YouTube, γιατί αυτό είναι κομμάτι της μυστικής συνταγής της Google. Παρ' όλα αυτά, ξέρουμε κάποια πράγματα, γιατί υπήρχε μια δημοσίευση ακαδημαϊκή που κάποιοι ερευνητές της Google έκαναν πριν από 3 χρόνια, που περιγράφουν πώς δούλευε ο αλγόριθμος τουλάχιστον τότε, το 2016. Ο τρόπος με τον οποίο εμφανίζονται τα προτείνομενα βίντεο λειτουργεί σε 2 βήματα. Πρώτα, ο αλγόριθμος εντοπίζει τα βίντεο τα οποία θα προτείνει και το δεύτερο βήμα, το οποίο είναι πολύ σημαντικό, είναι τα κατατάσσει με κριτήριο τον πόσο χρόνο πιστεύει ότι θα ξοδέψεις, θα αφιερώσεις πάνω στο βίντεο. Ενδιαφέρει δηλαδή να δεις ένα βίντεο από την αρχή μέχρι το τέλος ή όσο περισσότερο γίνεται, από το να δεις κάτι, να δεις την αρχή του και μετά να φύγεις και να πας να δεις το επόμενο. Ο αλγόριθμος δουλεύει με αυτές τις τεχνικές που ονομάζεται μηχανική μάθηση, δηλαδή προσπαθεί από το ιστορικό των ανθρώπων που χρησιμοποιούν το YouTube να εξάγει συμπεράσματα. Η μηχανική μάθηση είναι αλγόριθμοι με τους οποίους ο υπολογιστής προσπαθεί να μάθει να κάνει κάτι, χωρίς εμείς να του λέμε ακριβώς πώς να το κάνει. Αυτό μοιάζει, για να δώσουμε ένα παράδειγμα πώς λειτουργούν αυτοί οι αλγόριθμοι, να φανταστούμε ότι έχουμε ένα μαθητή, ο οποίος πρέπει να μάθει κάποιο αντικείμενο, κάποιο μάθημα. Και του δίνουμε πολλές ασκήσεις και τις λύσεις τους. Και του λέμε, διάβασε τις ασκήσεις, να και το λυσάρι, και θεωρούμε ότι αν ο μαθητής κάνει πολλές ασκήσεις, 100 χίλιες, από κάποια στιγμή και μετά θα το πιάσει το νόημα και θα μπορεί να τις λύνει και μόνος του. Αυτή τη διαδικασία προσπαθούμε να την εξομοιώσουμε και στον υπολογιστή. Δίνουμε στον υπολογιστή προβλήματα και λύσεις και ο υπολογιστής προσπαθεί να καταλάβει σε εισαγωγικά, δεν είναι άνθρωπος βεβαίως, με ποιον τρόπο από το πρόβλημα θα πάει στη λύση. Αυτή τη διαδικασία χρησιμοποιεί και ο αλγόριθμος του YouTube. Ουσιαστικά έχουμε το ιστορικό του, τι έχουν δει οι χρήστες και τα δημογραφικά χαρακτηριστικά των χρηστών. Άρα μπορούμε να δούμε με βάση το ιστορικό τι πιστεύουμε ότι ενδιαφέρει και με βάση αυτό να μάθει το σύστημα και να μπορεί να προβλέψει τι θα μας ενδιαφέρει εμείς όταν κάνουμε μια αναζήτηση. Δεν υπάρχει βέβαια κάτι στον αλγόριθμο του YouTube που να ψάχνει και να βρίσκει από μόνος του βίντεο στα οποία είναι πιο ακραία. Έτσι. Εάν όμως αυτά που εμείς ψάχνουμε και αυτά που ο υπόλοιπος κόσμος ψάχνει και αφιερώνει πιο πολύ χρόνο είναι πιο ακραία, τέτοια πράγματα θα μας δείχνει. Το εάν έχει ο αλγόριθμος τη δύναμη να αλλάξει την ταυτότητα ενός χρήστη, νομίζω εξαρτάται καταρχήν από τον χρήστη. Αν είναι κάποιος άνθρωπος ο οποίος είναι απομονωμένος, ζει σε έναν μικρό κόσμο, δεν έχει ευρύ κοινωνικό περίγυρο, αν περνάει την ημέρα του βλέποντας αυτά τα πράγματα, τότε μπορεί να μπει σε μια σκολικότρυπα η οποία να μην ξέρει που θα τον βγάλει. Λιγότερο ακραία αποτελέσματα είναι αυτά τα οποία βέβαια έχουν παρατηρηθεί σε εκλογές. Ότι δεν είναι ανάγκη κάποιος να πάει σε ακραίες θέσεις, απλά μπορούν αυτές οι πλατφόρμες να του εμφανίζουν συνέχεια σε εισαγωγικά γεγονότα, γιατί δεν είναι απαραίτητο ότι είναι αληθινά, τα οποία επιβεβαιώνουν τις θέσεις του και να μην κοιτάζει ποτέ καμία εναλλακτική θέση. Αυτό νομίζω το είδαμε και στις ΗΠΑ και στο Brexit, που έγιναν στοχευμένες διαφημίσεις στο Facebook, που ξέρουμε ότι πολλές από αυτές τα γεγονότα που αναφέρανε δεν είχαν καμία σχέση με την πραγματικότητα, αλλά οι χρήστες ήταν πολύ χαρούμενοι που τα βλέπανε, διότι επιβεβαιώνανε τις απόψεις, τις προκαταλήψεις, τις πεποιθήσεις που ήδη είχαν και άρα σκληράνανε τις τάσεις και τις αποφάσεις τους. Κάτι το οποίο εγώ προσωπικά πιστεύω και νομίζω και άλλοι επιστήμονες είναι ότι οι αλγόριθμοι αυτοί θα έπρεπε να δημοσιεύονται με όλες τις λεπτομέρειες για να ξέρουμε πώς δουλεύουν. Ώστε αν ξέρουμε καλά πώς δουλεύουμε, μπορούμε να ξέρουμε καλύτερα τις αδυναμίες τους, να ξέρουμε αν μπορούν να χειραγωγηθούν, να ξέρουμε τυχόν προκαταλήψεις που μπορεί να κρύβουν αυτοί οι αλγόριθμοι στον τρόπο που παίρνουν αποφάσεις. Πρέπει δηλαδή οι αλγόριθμοι που χρησιμοποιούμε να είμαστε διαφανείς προς αυτούς, έτσι, να τους παρουσιάζουμε, να τους δείχνουμε στην επιστημονική κοινότητα και το κοινό να έχει γνώση του με ποιον τρόπο παίρνονται αυτές οι αποφάσεις που επηρεάζουν την καθημερινή του ζωή.
Παρουσιάζω.
Are these numbers published? Would it help in order for things to clear up? I can't say, because we're talking about, I'm not going to talk about only the YouTube algorithm, but algorithms are used for certain platforms, and maybe commercially this cannot be revealed, but I think that, well, I can't say. I have no opinion on the matter. But what you said before and what the gentleman said, what Mr. Louridas said in the video, the truth is that we know that if the algorithms don't show the content, well, somebody won't watch it. So the basic idea of the algorithm is to show you a video that would interest you. I never watched political videos. So the algorithm never proposed or suggested political videos. There are some conspiracy theories, and as you talked about the scandal of Cambridge Analytica, well, this has to do with how certain data could be taken advantage of in order to guide the people. It's got to do with what the algorithm proposed or suggested. So let's now have the discussion, because I think that the audience can also ask questions or make statements. The attendees can say something about what we've discussed. So in relation to you now, there is another ongoing discussion, i.e. that from a very early stage, some people, now those of you who are with us, you're professionals, you already have been active on YouTube for years, but there is a feeling that from a very early age, all this publicity in combination with all this sequence of subscribers and the identification and copying and the fact that other people imitate others and they copy others. This leads to models and profiles of creators, and I don't know how to put it. Let me just use the word others use, that these people actually think highly of themselves, that how's it possible that they can have managers at the age of 18? Many of you not 18, do you have managers? Well, not managers for example, somebody who will manage you, but somebody who will help you, like a guide, someone who can help you, and so on and so forth. Managers, I don't think that we have many managers. I think that most YouTubers don't have managers. They may have someone who will help them get a job, find customers, handle the commercial side of things, but real managers like an artist has, no, I don't think so. No, I don't think this is the case. I don't know of any such YouTuber with a manager, unless you have people who organize events that you'd like to do, for example. That's something different. And we're talking about Greece, for example, because in other countries they may have managers. I agree. At least those of us who deal with gaming, and we're addressing younger ages. And what I've noticed is, and I'm older, I'm not a teenager, but I've seen that young people, teenagers who entered this place where there's a lot of publicity, where people will hug you in the street and want to take photos with you and ask for autographs. I've seen such cases of people thinking they are really something because they're so young. But it's also got to do with how mature some people are. Not everybody is ready to handle publicity. But I don't think that means that we're all like that. We aren't, at least most of us aren't like that. And there's a network sometimes that will give you the revenue from the advertising, from the commercials. It'll keep a part, and they try to manage you, to promote you, and to get you work. But for us, we've done it from year one, and then we rejected it automatically. We discarded it. There are managers. There are people, whole networks that are created, and people are trying to make as much as they can for trying to take advantage of the people they manage. So this is event. It's a true fact. What you're saying is true. But let me put it simply. When the idea came to have this discussion, we were amongst ourselves, we were talking, not just with the team, but with our friends, with people from our environments, with people who know more about YouTube than we do. So we found it an interesting theme, and they said to us, if you manage to talk to YouTubers, I'm just saying what's out there. I'm just saying that this is what we heard, and they'll ask to be paid. And I said, why would they ask to be paid for a discussion that we'll hold? And I don't know if you're going to get in touch with them or you'll contact their manager. So let me just say that we found you directly, very easily, and we had excellent collaboration this past month until we got here to this event. Well, in Greece, the concept of manager doesn't apply, with the exception of one honorary manager, and we're talking about Ilias. He is the only manager, and with Sakis Rouvas, he was his manager. But I don't think that you have enough work to have a manager. Certain things, of course, you can't handle them yourself. I can't actually do my accounting. I have an accountant. This doesn't mean that I have a manager. I answer my own emails together with my colleague. We conclude deals together, but there is some misunderstanding as to what one can ask a creator for free of charge. What can you ask for free of charge from a creator? Nothing, because here the event has a specific objective. It's not that the Stavros Niarchos Foundation came to ask for advertisement, in which case I would have to get paid for. I've been asked to participate in a dialogue, in a discussion. Of course, this is free of charge. Everything else, and when a customer comes to me and has specific demands, this means that I need to get something in return, to be remunerated for it. So, of course, there is this idea that some people say, well, for every picture taken, this person gets paid. That's not true. But for everything that's professional and for which there are conditions and terms, we all have to understand that this person must get paid for the photos, for the video, and so on and so forth. Because if I actually advertise food or bottles and I advertise, this will be a form of advertisement. So why should I not get paid for it? Why should you get paid for it, not me? So we have to share the money. So let me hear from the Kathimerini Fysiki YouTuber. Where do you get paid? Who do you get paid from? Who pays you? Because this is educational. It's an educational channel. So, for example, who comes to advertise on your channel? How does advertisement come to you? How do the commercials come to you? Now, if these subscribers, are they sufficient? Are they sufficient to make this channel on YouTube competitive? And that's another question. And if there is the same demand, not just for the channel, as we heard from the others, carrot cards to go somewhere, represent the channel and this whole transaction that exists. Okay, so is it commercial? That's my question. Is it as commercial? So let's try to strip it down to the bare basics. Well, commercial, that's relevant. That's relative, excuse me. Something may be commercial and tomorrow it might not be commercial, or something may not be commercial today and it may be commercial tomorrow. So proposals come to us because they see that people like our content and they want to link and correlate what they have to the content. And sometimes this is also linked sometimes to the theme that we present as a channel. Now, whether we have enough subscribers, and whether this justifies commercials. So, how many members do you have on YouTube? I remember it's never too late. That's what you said. So, if the content is attractive, that's my question. I think it is, because I can live off it. So this means that there is enough revenue. But that's very good, because as far as educational aspects are concerned, we know that people watch channels from abroad, and they've expressed an interest in having more activity in this aspect, the educational aspect. And this is good because we have new customers and we have new companies. I've actually collaborated with them, and it was their first time they had actually wanted to advertise on YouTube. And they came up with a proposal. So if people like it, if they like our content, I didn't see a reason why we shouldn't get proposals coming our way. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be proposals to advertise. No. I just asked. What I understand, having worked in different media and having ended up in social media, so what I've understood is, like we see in all media, there's advertising in newspapers, in magazines, everywhere, on TV. So it's a medium, but you're not on your own there. Yes, but it's a medium which gives the same information, meaning you'll open up a magazine and you'll learn about a hair mask, about a mascara. I'm talking about beauty products, cosmetics. So there's a medium, and it has its own audience. Every medium has its own audience. So just like any other medium that has advertisers, social media, not just YouTube, we're talking about a wider spectrum of social media. So we have the different products. that they want to present on YouTube, and they want to create this whole, if you like, transaction, this back and forth. Now, how easy is it to deal with beauty on YouTube? Because there's a lot of activity there related to beauty. So there's a lot of competition. There is competition, but I believe that we all do what we do in a different way. And this is what's needed when you want to do YouTube. You want to do something that may be the same, but you do it in a different way, in your own way, and with your own character. And because I continue with the same passion, in the same way, my eyes are glued, if you like, to my content. And of course, I watch all beauty channels, and most of the girls who do beauty in Greece are my friends. So I do what I've been doing from the outset, from day one. So I do something very specific, very focused. So I can't say it's difficult, because it's what I love doing and what I've been doing in the last 10 years of my professional life. But whatever you do and whatever comes from within, it's not difficult. And you don't have difficulty with competition, with promoting it, no problems with views or subscribers, because YouTube is a platform. It's a platform for you to express your passion and to show your excitement. That's what it is for me, at least.
Jeremy, would you like to add something? Well, as regards ads, the only thing I would like to touch upon is that quite often companies do not know who they pay, because they want to change the essence of your videos, some basic features. You cannot do it. You cannot change your channel. So I think that this is a constant problem with companies that are stricter. YouTube is different to the TV, and this has to become clear for everybody. There are many companies that have adjusted, and we work wonderfully together. Jeremy says that at least we, or all of us, have received emails and they got their names wrong. It's not that we are celebrities, but I cannot say, "Hello, Maria, I want you to present an event." You have to know my name, my username. It's not always Alexander. Some names are difficult, more difficult. So you have to know my name and my content. And then you will ask for a product placement adjusted to my video. I could sell my soul to the devil to do your job. You can do it if you want, but anyway, you will not have the right result. There will be a bad impact. When we see a constant promotion, products promotion, is your audience affected? It depends. It depends. This comes from the companies. They have something in their minds because of the TV, and they cannot understand that it's okay for me just to hold to the product. This is better for them. We are not actors. We cannot act as actors. We cannot act. That's not the case. The case is that somebody could come to us for advertisements, and I feel that we are still trying to convince others that what we do is a job and we have to be paid for it. But anyway, they come to us because we are what we are. Companies come and ask for advertisement without money, or become somebody else to advertise their product. This is not going to be successful, and this is gratis. It's very usual even today. I started 7 years ago, and still there are companies who say, could you advertise a bed or a kilo of flour? No, I don't want to do this. I said this only once. As to the feedback we got when we were trying to prepare for the issue. Yes, some users write this in their comments. Some users get nervous. They don't like it. Maybe I have ads of 7 or 10 seconds and they don't like it. They don't understand there is a production, there is an editor, there are many people working for this video, so they cannot demand to watch the video without ads, without paying anything. This cannot happen. It's not viable, at least. But let's hear from the audience. Are there any questions? There are microphones. We still have some romantics in the YouTube. They started it as a hobby. They want to go on having it as a hobby, and they think that it's a hobby for everybody. It's difficult to train them. Train them is not the right word. Maybe you have to convince them that I play a game, but at the same time, this is an advertisement. This will help me and my brother and the channel to have better content in the future, get a better camera, buy a better computer, a better gaming chair. Unfortunately, it took a long time to make our audience understand this. Still, we have some people that say, no, we don't like the ads. They wanted it to be a hobby. Still, a large part of the audience has this view. I think that this has to do with the relation between the creator and the viewers. Some people would leave the TV and they say that their viewers would leave the TV with them and go on the YouTube. It's okay, you can use the fact that you are a celebrity. Day 1, 10 people, day 5, 100 people. You have to be very honest. Nobody has sent any comments, or actually we only had 2 comments about promotion. There was a misunderstanding about the product. They never asked why. I never advertised anything I was not using anyway, because I think that the audience will definitely realize it, and you will get ads for a couple of times, then you cannot sell, and that's the end of it. And the company has to understand your culture, your particularities, your identity. They have to meet you. You are a celebrity now. You will not be watched forever. You will be out of the game quite soon. There was a question on the internet, and there is a hand raised here. Please talk to the microphone. And anybody else? Yes. A second microphone over there. And we have a very nice question about the parents from the internet. I am very glad to participate in this debate. It is very useful. My question: what is the lowest number of followers for somebody to get an ad in Greece and abroad? I cannot remember the figure. It's a number of subscribers about ads. I think it's 4,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers. I'm not sure about the numbers anyway, and 1,000 and 10,000 viewers. I think we have to define this better. Ads before the video or below the video is different from somebody coming in, hello, I have a company, I want you to advertise me. In the second case, we just need some figures. 2,000 subscribers, I don't think that's enough. For Google to place an ad, these are the figures, and for a company, this has to do with the number of the followers to place a product in your video and get paid for it. But then again, I don't know, maybe you will get 10 or 100 euro. Of course, I think that a company will not care, they will not get to know you. And we want to talk about the sum of money coming from ads in Greece. It's not what people think. It's not like the US. For example, Coca-Cola in the US, 10 million YouTube ads. In Athens, 10,000. 10,000 are going to be distributed among all YouTubers. This has to do with the platform and the money given to the platform. In the US, it's about $7, I would say. Here, it's 50 cents. Hello. My name is Anestis Kouyoumtzidis. 14 days ago, it was the first time I created a YouTube channel, and I have a dream of changing the world. I don't want to name the name of my channel, it wouldn't be right. But please give me 3 pieces of advice coming from your first day of experience. If you want to do it because you want to become famous, don't do it. No, my dream is to change the world, not to become famous. Okay, do it. First of all, welcome. What hasn't been said yet is that there is enough room for everybody. You can always try to enter the game, and if it's not what you thought, you could just leave and do something else. And please don't expect that within 14 days something is going to happen. There is going to be a large period of time that only your mother will watch your channel, and then the people will find out that you exist there. Of course, you have to do it properly. Just do it, and whatever it happens, please don't get disappointed. It could take months or years, and figures will be small because the pie is large. Now it takes more effort for somebody to find you. Thank you very much. Somebody said, I cannot remember who, that being different is what people like, being different. And I'm sure that we can all create our own YouTube channels because everybody is different and special in something. Thank you. And there are a couple of questions more. Good evening. A question for anyone. It's something that hasn't been mentioned yet, I think, about subscribers and the role of the subscribers like Patreon, this type of audience. I watch most of your videos, with the exception of Καθημερινή Φυσική that has it. I think no other has this type of money support from the fans. In a country like Greece, where we could give money for education, it's part of our way of thinking. We would give money for health or education, but not for entertainment. So what do you think about it? Have you ever thought about it, of doing it? Of opening an account? Do you think that there is going to be the interest. So whether you get paid by the subscribers and would the others do it, I think yes. I didn't know that I could do it. I think that we did it once in one YouTube video. If you want, you could participate and pay a contribution. There is no limit. You can just say €0.50, whatever. So Patreons, if you want to support the creator. The result for us was kind of impressive because you wouldn't expect that you just have to say, if you appreciate my work, help. You think that they will ignore you. But it was effective. If you just say, give me money, and I imagine that καθημερινή φυσική, if you need expensive equipment for your videos, for example, I think that it's only logical to ask for it. But indeed, in Greece, for theater, it's okay, but for YouTube, we cannot say that we are willing to pay. Indeed, you will not find great support, but there are always people that will support you, not only in financial terms. Look, but if you are professionals, we are professionals, you cannot do it. You cannot be based on this because you have costs every month, equipment. We could try at least, but I think that it's not amateurish, but anyway, you cannot base your professional work on this. Anyway, we do have this app of participation. We call them VIP members. We offer them something extra. They subscribe and they pay €5 per month, for example. There is this option. I think that it's kind of difficult, not from the financial point of view. Maybe this has to do with the mentality. We were afraid initially. We didn't know even how to put it. It was very difficult for us to ask our audience to support us in this way. It was not right to say a VIP and a non-VIP. But it is an option for somebody who wants to show their love. Anyway, it's not something that happens a lot. Any other questions? Yes, please. Hello. I would like to say about ads. Maybe the state, on the basis of certain criteria, could give a type of subsidy. I don't like subsidy, a financial aid to avoid ads, because ads are distracting, because ads are not placed at the right times. So maybe the state could give some money on the basis of certain criteria, based on views, for example, and something else, bias, for example. 2 episodes of Mr. B were cut because of censorship or hate speech. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have 2 more questions from up there. Hello. What I'd like to ask is something linked to what was mentioned before about publicity. We can't hear those of you up there, so could you speak closer to the microphone? How did you psychologically deal with fame? Meaning, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that when the audience watches your videos, it actually becomes more familiar with you. And when they see you in the street and bump into you, they may think of you as a friend, but this is not right. You don't know this person. So how do you deal with such a situation? Is this fame something that helped you, or was it a curse? Well, you know that this person has watched your video, so you feel some familiarity because you know that this person has watched you. So you speak to this person in the language that you can communicate in a language that this person speaks. This isn't always the case. This isn't always the case. What was mentioned before, i.e. whether you are on your high horse and if you feel that you're something special, it's also a matter of scale. How famous can you be in Greece? Very famous. No. No, but the question is different. So, for example, they might speak to you in the street, and this is not something that happens seldom. It might be a pleasant surprise. I called somebody and I said, well, they know they've been watching me. So when someone watches you, and I'm talking about you as a persona, whether as a duet, as a trio, depending on the content that you have and the identity that you have. So how do you manage this when people recognize you in the street? So this is a question that's traditional. It's something that's been asked again and again ever since the media have been operating. So now we're asking you, how do you deal with fame? Some creators are happy when people come up to them and say that they love and appreciate their work, and sometimes we meet people up close and they say, I watched what you created and it helped me, it did this and that, and it helped me. And this is a beautiful feeling. It's very nice and very emotional, very moving. But there are also people who don't do this in a nice and polite way. And sometimes you may be at a specific point and you're in the streets and you might feel awkward or uncomfortable when somebody talks to you in the street. So it can be a bit of everything. And sometimes they come at personal moments when you're in a concert and they've seen me break up with my boyfriend. And this has happened to me. They've seen me break up with my partner. That's very personal, but it's also a matter of responsibility regarding what you say and the messages you communicate to your public, particularly when in the audience there are young children. And this is the difficult thing. It's got to do not so much with the vocabulary that we use, but the messages that we try to convey or get across, because parents say to us, well, tell them that they need to study. Tell them that they don't need to sit in front of a computer all day, that they need to go out and play and take up a sport. So when we receive such messages from parents, we started seeing things differently. We didn't change what we saw, but we wanted to add messages to our content that are in the right direction. There's another question. I've been keeping it, and it says, what would you advise, all of you, a quick answer, what would you advise parents who have children that go to primary school? And they beg to have the freedom to become YouTubers. They're going to destroy their lives. Who will destroy? When you have a child and you see these YouTube channels and you have children aged 6, 7 years of age, and these 6, 7-year-olds get so much exposure, they become so famous, 1 million people watch them on YouTube. This is something that a child can't handle. This is bad. It's as simple as that. They just can't take it. They can't manage it. They can't handle it. So we actually meet parents in different events and we say, look, depending on your age, you have certain obligations. So when you are a pupil, you have to do your homework. When you are in the army, you have to be a good soldier. So this is what we say to the kids. Do what you have to do first. You have to do your part. And we all went to university, and the universities helped us because we were able to speak more better, more beautifully, more appropriately. But let me say that you can't say that I'm going to become a professional YouTuber from the start. You will start it as a hobby, and if you're lucky, then it can become your profession. I don't think that any child should go on YouTube and become a YouTuber. I think this is very egocentric. You may turn them into narcissists. This is bad. And this may prove to be very bad for their life and their development, their personal development. So maybe after the age of 18, when they turn 18, they can do as they please. But before that, I don't think they should become YouTubers. And parents sometimes say to their children what they should do. When a child is 11 or 12 and finds the way to do it and likes it, well, that's okay by me, because it's what the child wants to do. It's a dream that a child has. But as a parent, I would tell my child that every age has some things that are beautiful and some things that are not. It's not whether it will be able to deal with popularity and fame, because that's something that it will see at school. But at 12, instead of playing and instead of studying and going out with my friends, I'm going to sit and edit content. Well, when I turn 25, I'm going to say, well, why didn't I do what I was supposed to do at my age? You're sacrificing a part of your life. We're doing it now, but we socialized, we're educated, and so on and so forth. So it's the right age. And if you say to a child, you have to do your homework and study, well, it's not that you're going to force her to do something, but if you make it understand that this is the right time to do this now, and you can't say to the child, look, you're too young to do it, because other people who are younger that have done it. And I'd like to dwell on what Jeremy said earlier. Are we talking exclusively about YouTube now? Or are we talking about social media in general? Because overexposure may be done through all social media. So we're talking about all social media, and each social medium has its own characteristics, its own particular characteristics that one should pay attention to. Instagram, for example. Well, Facebook, kids don't have Facebook, but they go on Instagram, they go on Snapchat. Well, it may be locked, and I don't know. Well, there needs to be some restriction, some parental control. But we were the first generation that grew up, that experienced social media. So I don't think that it should be prohibited. And we learned through experience. So it was experiential learning. But now parents know about social media, and they might have an account on social media. So instead of forbidding it and making it attractive, they can guide their children and help them so that they can do the right thing. Well, nobody can say yes and no, and nobody can guide, and a parent can't do that. But you are a father. Is this, you know this, it's your profession, you know YouTube better than all of us here, and you know exactly what is happening and what the company does, and what's happening in YouTube exactly, how this environment is determined, and the immediate future, what's going to happen in the future. So what advice would you give to your own child? I will speak as a parent now. I agree. I don't believe that as a parent I can impose things on my child and forbid my child to do certain things. But we're talking about the age, because I am against overexposure, and this applies in my personal life. And Instagram, I've only uploaded one photo. So I don't think that there would be a huge risk from YouTube for a child. But it's up to each parent. It's at the discretion of each parent to look at the pros and cons of a child becoming a YouTuber. What would be the pros? Maybe a child can express itself like this in this age. Overexposure is a negative thing. So I'd have to weigh the two, the pros and the cons, and decide. But I think that children now grow up in a very different way compared to us. So from the first year of age, they are connected to the internet. So I think that our children, the generation of our children, will be digital natives, so they feel cool, if you like, about it. They will keep a cool head. Some parents try to explain how their children decode things and how they understand things, and every time we keep the same expression, they do this, they explain this, they're always on the internet, and this is how this is translated. They're more passive, they live from what they see and not what's happening in life, in real life. So it's interesting that how can I put it, that it's not dominating, even though it's unknown for many generations. So we know that the new generation is very different from the previous generations because they're wired. This new generation is wired as part of the internet, and they will bring something new. They will usher something new. Well, this new generation will live in this world of machine learning, where there'll be virtual reality and all the social media that we now have. But they also grow up, and we live this era of abundance of information, and you can have any information at your fingertips just with a click of a button. So the question is how children will be able to manage all this, how this young generation, and maybe the schools haven't adjusted to this new reality. And so I don't think I have an answer as to whether I would let my child be a YouTuber or not. But there are certain things I don't want my child to do, and yet it does it. So I have to teach my child to handle the situation better and to explain the pros and cons. If you ask me, I would say no, I don't want my child to be a YouTuber, but if it's the way it expresses itself, well, I have to find a way to protect it against any threat, against any danger. Do we have any questions? A last question?
Hello. As regards the financial reward, because no clear figures have been given, could somebody earn a living just from the YouTube ads? Or do you really have to have product placement in Greece on 0.5 for 1,000 views? Make your own calculation. Let's say that you have 1 million views per month. This is 500 euro. Minus 40 something percent ad block, which is 250 euro. And you cannot have 4 million views per month to get a salary which is not enough to pay your bills. Hello. A kind of different question. It has to do with YouTube and the TV. My question is the following. Recently, we see people invited on TV, people from the YouTube. Do you like this? Do you think that your efforts are recognized by the TV? Or do you think that they are trying to steal part of your audience? In a humorous note, we have an ad for a TV series for Volos. Our grandmother saw this and said, "Oh, you were on TV. We were congratulated." And there are only 500 people watching this. So our video on the YouTube is seen by 150,000 people. So there is a downturn for TV. They know that there are people following the YouTube, so they will go on doing this. I don't know whether it's a fear or a competition. They do it for celebrities in order to raise their ratings. It depends on the broadcasting. You cannot know what the editors think and what the questions will be. In most cases, they are very superficial, which is very tiring, and I don't like it. And sometimes I don't even go because there is no point, unless if you want to advertise yourself. But it's a good thing that you know who the person you're inviting is. You should be able to show the audience this person. So the TV is like something that is on the background. Viewers do not actually watch TV very attentively. But in Greece, we like to say that those that are on TV, they are really somebody. And no matter how they try to take advantage of the dynamics of celebrity, it is a type of promotion. They think that they will get something out of you, but at the same time, you will get promoted. There is going to be an interview. So actually, they take advantage of nothing because they don't know how to do it, or they think they do it, but they do it wrong. So anyway, there is no point. You will get some promotion, and yet in another village, in another town, or in another country, they would say, "Oh yes, I know this guy. This is helpful." Yes, but do they do their job properly? No. We were invited on TV because they watched a video of ours for a specific video game. We went there for the first presentation of the video game. And we were listening wonderful comments for us. We didn't deserve them, and were presented as if we were the creators of the video game. Yes, we would like to be the creators, but we weren't. And we didn't know what to do because it was live. So we said, no, maybe you wanted to have somebody else on the stage. We didn't create the video game. It's not mine. I believe that people on the TV are trying to approach younger audiences. James Horton in the US tried to do something similar, but in Greece the TV formats are not proper for young audiences. I think that it's a good type of exposure, but nothing more. And there are public relations, friendships. They don't care about engaging in a dialogue. It's just compliments, paying compliments. Look, if you really watch the content, you can do something about it on the TV. And quite recently, they show parts of your video without saying anything about you, having your name somewhere. How can you ensure your rights? Look, our rights, if they play something on the TV and they don't know my name, I cannot do anything about it. I think that there are some professional ethics. You have to name your sources. I got this from the channel of Stavros Niarchos and say so. Or at least send an email. Are you okay? I'm going to use your video. They just say a YouTube video. That's all. This is telling how the TV thinks of our work and whether we could do something as we work with the TV. I would like to thank you for this discussion. I think it would be nice to meet again. Okay, let's meet again. Let's talk again about these issues, go much in depth. and see how this environment can become more viable for all sides. It is just a rhetoric question, but we have to be more realistic and practical to see what happens in real life. Entertainment, only entertainment, or is it something done by amateurs? No, we have the first wave of professionals with professional content, and it seems that we are still lagging behind. Unfortunately, we have to touch upon some issues starting from what was happening yesterday, because there are some basic gaps. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed for being here with us. Thank you very much, Ilias, for coming. I would just like to say that our next appointment, it is this opening up the beginning of 2020 with a different topic, which, however, is promoted in many ways. And it is another reality we have to explore in depth, which is climate change, how to see the reactivation of groups and political activities, what happens with our environment. And we're also celebrating the 2-year anniversary of the dialogues. You're here. We have broadcasting on the internet, YouTube as well, the social media, in all environments. We are doing away with borders, and who can be at the right place, the right time, physically, because actually this means that this person does not have the possibility to listen, and we cannot listen to this person in order to build the community of the dialogues. Now I would like to call up to the stage the people working for the dialogue. It's not just a production with nice lighting, nice colors, which are impressive. There are people working every day for this monthly appointment, this monthly meeting. So let me stand up. I would like to ask Asimina to boost to come to the floor, Manakopali and Kokopoli.
Σύλλης Λαλιώτης, η Μίλη Πασχάλη, ο Παναγιώτης ο Κράνιας, η Δήμητρα Χατζηβασιλείου, η Λίνα Οικιωτάκη, και η Συνοδεινού, η Αρίστα Δακοπούλου, γιατί είναι και οι συνάδελφοι που μας βοηθούν κάθε φορά σε κάθε μας εκδήλωση στο να σας υποδεχτούν.
In every event, my name is Anna Maria Bouzdougou. We have Panos Vazeos. Where's Panos? Where is Panos Vazeos? We won't continue if he doesn't come on stage. Benjamin. Until Panos arrives. Come on, Panos. And Marfak Poutomichali. These are the people who with you, and I want you to come up, all of you from the audience, please come so we can blow out the candles. So thank you so much. Please come closer. We're 2 years old. This is our 2nd anniversary. You'll all get to eat cake. She's the one that deals with the finance. So I think we can all be on stage. So happy birthday to us. Let us all be well and healthy and full of happiness and creative and always in dialogue with others. Happy birthday.
έρθει για το μετά. Νίκος Πατρελάκης.
Nikos Patrelakis. Nikko Patrelakis is our DJ. Nikos Patrelakis, he is the DJ, and he will be the DJ for our party tonight.